Welcome to your Reiki session. I hope you're doing as well as possible. This is an ASMR style, energetic healing session. If that sounds like something you're into, I upload every single Wednesday and Sunday, and feel free to subscribe. I would love it if you joined our little community here. So, for this session, we are going to be focusing on finding and developing a balanced relationship with productivity. So, if you are somebody who is anxious, experiences a lot of stress or anxiety, and you really find productivity to be sort of out of reach, difficult to attain, difficult to feel grounded in a productive routine, maybe you kind of go like this. You'll have days when you're incredibly productive, and then maybe you have other days where you're really struggling to do anything. And this video is here to support you and to help you find a nice balance for yourself. I just realized I don't have my earrings on, so I'm actually going to put those on because I love the tingly sound. BRB. A lot of you ask me where I get these earrings and my jewelry. I got them these were a gift, but these are actually from the same flea market, I think, as my necklace. So I get them usually from little vintage shops or something like that. So unfortunately, I can't link anything. But yeah, I love these earrings. So there we go. Got our earrings on. Much better. I like them for myself as much as for you because they're so gentle and they give me nice ASMR tingles when I'm creating these sessions for you. So let's go ahead and begin with a little bit of clearing. I'm going to take some of this sage. I'm just going to light it off of these candles that I have going behind us. Good. So we're going to begin by doing a little bit of clearing and cleansing. If there's anything you'd like to offer up right now, sometimes just inviting the possibility of releasing something allows it to free itself. It's amazing. Clearing and cleansing. Clearing and cleansing. Clearing and cleansing. Using that smoke to clear and cleanse. Good. There we go, we have a little bit of a cleaner slate. And I want to use this little owl rattle. I have some little bit of that ash on my hands from the sage, but there we go. I'm going to use this little owl rattle to shake up your energy, I want you to feel nice and supported. I want your energetic field to be thick and buoyant. So we're going to use our little owl rattle friend. I know a lot of you love this song. I do too. I wanted to mention that my book is available for pre-order, so I will leave that link down below. And thank you so much for all of your love so far on the book. I'm so excited about it, and I think this idea of productivity and finding the balance with that productivity is definitely relevant for me in terms of what I've been going through the past few months and the past year working on this book. If you haven't seen it or you haven't heard about it, it's called Self-Loved, A Month of Meditations. And it's a guided meditation book that leads you through 30 days of meditations. Each day balances a different chakra. So there are 7 primary chakras, root to crown, and every single day of the week we'll be balancing a different chakra, so that by the end of the 30 days we will have balanced your entire energetic system 4 times. So I'm really excited about it. I'm a little bit nervous, but really excited. But it's been a lot of work and really having that long-term approach and that kind of deep understanding of the long haul instead of instant gratification. That's been such an important part of this journey, really going for the marathon. The tortoise over the hare approach to this has been really helpful, essential, I think. And also it's been a journey of really releasing a lot of self-judgment. That inner critic can get really, really loud when a project takes a long time and you have time to reflect on it. So it's been a journey and an exciting one. And I think some of the lessons that I've learned while writing this book are really helpful for me in terms of helping you in some way find that balance of productivity. So if you are experiencing, so I'll leave all that down below. Anyway, if you wanted to pre-order my book, that'd be so helpful. And I'll leave the links below for that. So thank you. Thank you so much. But if you're struggling with anxiety and you really have a hard time with anxiety and productivity and finding a balance within that, it can be kind of a catch-22, right? Because we know that we need to do things. We know that we need to be productive. That can swing us into anxiety. And then the anxiety can mean that we don't actually do anything, which means that energy that's building up in the productivity bucket can get heavier and heavier, and then that swings back over and makes us feel even more anxious that we're not doing anything about it. So it can be just this sort of oscillating anxiety building up what we have to do, which makes us even more anxious, which means that we don't do anything because it's a hindrance for productivity. So then our to-do list gets longer and then we feel even more anxious. Even talking about it can cause some anxiety, which is not my intention here. But it is just to recognize you, tell you that I see you if that's something you're experiencing. If you have a really hard time balancing productivity and, sorry, I need to put the sage out properly. I do have asthma, so sometimes the smoke can affect my asthma a little bit. Anyway, so I want you to just feel seen. I want to make sure that you feel seen and heard. It's incredibly difficult to find the balance between being productive and also caring for yourself, inviting a sense of, deep value and self-love within yourself, with removing any thought of productivity. When we have that, the to-do list looming over us, that can really sometimes negatively impact the way we speak to ourselves, how loud our inner critic is. It can really impact the way that we see ourselves, how we move through the world, and that kind of the way we see ourselves, the way we speak to ourselves, that can shift, and it can impact the way that we present ourselves in the world. So it's really important that we tend to this energetic balance between being productive and also accepting ourselves exactly as we are. So we're going to use this rattle to thicken and protect you, to help you feel nice and safe. Because I think when we're feeling safe, that's when we can start to develop this sense of grounding and security and move on to finding that balance from there. So we're going to start at your crown and move down. How are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? Okay. So I really want to make sure that you feel supported and cared for just as you are. Even if your to-do list stays unchecked for the rest of your life, even if you never do those things that you want to do, you are still so lovable, so worthy of care and love and belonging. You are still magnificent, just as you are. Okay? But we do sometimes want these things. We do sometimes want that, moving through our lives. It's important to connect with others, and getting things done is a part of life. So it's really important as well to make space for ourselves to do these things. We just can't allow that to take over our whole sense of worthiness. So that's my encouragement to you here, is just to know how worthy you are, just as you are, right here, right now. And then on top of that, you can do these things, but that doesn't impact or impede your worthiness in any way. I'm going to start with a few stones here, and I think it comes as no surprise to any of you who've been watching for a while. I'm going to start with some tiger's eye, raw tiger's eye. Such a wonderful stone for confidence, for taking action. Great stone for productivity. If you're going to get one stone, I would say get some tiger's eye if you're trying to be more productive. Tiger's eye is also, like I said, great for confidence. And I think that's really important when we're trying to find a balance between that anxiety and a sense of productivity. We want to believe that we're worthy of it. We want to believe that we're capable, right? And when we're in this oscillating kind of back and forth between feeling too anxious to do anything, which makes our to-do list longer, which makes us more anxious, when we're constantly in that pattern, it can really impact our sense of self-confidence. So we want to have some kind of support and a way to kind of pierce through that cycle. So we have a few stones for that. Raw tiger's eye specifically because it has that very punchy energy. Fire agate. Fire agate is a wonderful stone for really lighting a fire underneath you, getting you started, helping you to really connect with new beginnings. And it's that kind of initial spark. And we've talked about this before. Then once you have that spark of inspiration or motivation, it's up to you what you do with that. Are you going to foster that spark and let it turn into a flame, and then fuel that flame with things like discipline and routine and structure and developing a self-love practice? Are you going to foster that and fuel that flame, or are you going to let that spark die out? So the first thing, we'll light that flame for you. Light that spark, ignite that inspiration. Some yellow calcite, stone of productivity, of joy. It can be a stone of manifesting money. And it's a great activation point for the solar plexus. Calcites are great stones. I find calcites to be a pretty soothing stone. They're not as intensive in energy. I want to invite in a couple of fluorites. This is a green fluorite. I want to invite this in because fluorite is a great stone for focus. So once we have that spark ignited, once we have our commitment to productivity in place, we have the confidence to really move forward here, I think we have to invite in that sense of love. So we're connecting now in the heart space and really helping you to feel loved and supported and really connecting to that self-love. So connecting to self-love specifically as it applies to focus. So when we are focused on something, that's when we can start to make those decisions, have that agency for where we spend our time, our energy. And if we're doing that from a place of love, I think it's going to be a lot easier for us to overcome some of the obstacles that might come up, some of the obstacles that we might put in the way of ourselves. So I think we can approach this from a place of gentleness and acceptance and understanding. Because, it's not easy to do a lot of the things that we have to do and want to do. If it was easy, then everybody would do it, right? So it's difficult, it's challenging, and if we can just connect with a little bit of self-compassion to know that this isn't actually an easy thing that I'm doing, but I can do hard things, and this might be tough, but I'm tougher. Really buoy ourselves up when we start to get down on ourselves and kind of keep that inner critic at bay. If that's something that you struggle with your anxiety, so we're placing this beautiful green fluorite on the heart space. And I really want you to remember that heart center, that heart energy. Loving, gentle, compassionate energy. So when self-judgment might start to creep in, you can just remember that. You can focus more on that loving, gentle side of things. And then we have an indigo fluorite, again about focus. Because I think that focus is so important for us. Whether we are connecting with focus from the perspective of, this is the thing that I want, so I'm going to remove all distractions and really go for this thing. Or if it's about beating the procrastination bug. So if procrastination starts to creep in, we can start to really refocus our energy on why we're doing what we're doing. And I think that can be really helpful for us. Why is it that we want to do these things that are on our to-do list? Why do we want to be productive? Does it help build our self-esteem? Again, it's that cycle, right? Self-esteem and our productivity are linked as well. But is it to build our self-esteem, our confidence in ourselves? I've heard the quote, I think Caroline Winkler says it about your reputation with yourself, building a strong reputation with yourself. And that's incredibly valuable and important, to build a strong reputation with yourself. So recognizing that, embracing that. It's just important to be able to have some support when it comes to productivity. What is it that you want? How can you diminish that gap between where you are and what you want, while also connecting with how worthy and awesome you are, just as you are? So I'm going to place this right on your third eye here. One more stone. This Septarian. When we are trying to shift things, right? Maybe this is new for you. Maybe you haven't had a healthy, balanced relationship with productivity. Maybe you're in that cycle. Maybe you just really always feel behind. I want to invite the Septarian in to really encourage you to set boundaries with yourself, maybe to set boundaries with others. Because when we have that focused attention and we have this, we're building up all of these support systems to help us, move towards our dreams or achieve the things that we want to do or get ahead of, the daily list of to-dos. It's really easy for things to come in and distract us. So even if we have the focus, even if we have that grounding and the foundation of self-love and worthiness, there can still be things that distract us from what we want to do and what we need to do. So having solid boundaries around that for ourselves, whether that's taking a certain amount of time each day to do the things that we need to do, whether that's boundaries around how much of our time we're going to spend doing other things that maybe are the top culprits for those kinds of distractions, for distracting us from our to-do list. Limiting the amount of time that maybe we're spending doing things that aren't in alignment with fulfilling our goals and things like that. So just setting boundaries with ourselves. You get to decide that. And it's those little boundaries that we start to create. Septarian means wall. And so these little walls around all of these different pieces, they make all of the separate areas of the Septarian so much clearer. The yellow calcite, this aragonite, this jasper here, they make it so much cleaner and clearer having these walls here. And it's beautiful. There's order, there's clarity. So there's a lot of beauty to be found in boundaries. They're so helpful and empowering. And it can really help clear our minds and teach us what we need and what we want. And so you get to decide, what is it that you want? And then through self-reflection and self-awareness, taking some time to really see how you respond to your environment, that's how you can start to invite in this sense of inner knowing, how you react to your environment, so that you know what those obstacles might be, so you can start to set those boundaries for yourself, building your own fortress. And you can really, it's a beautiful thing when you can start to sense into your own worthiness, your worthiness to have your needs known and met, meeting your own needs, developing practices, routines around getting the things done that you want to get done, so that you can really build a life of your dreams. You're building your own fortress here. And it's so important, and it's so helpful to know what we want, right? So I'm going to use this beautiful selenite tower here. And I'm going to come through, just do a little bit of clearing in the mental plane if anything has come up for you that you want to clear. Now that you have this beautiful grid, I'm going to shake up your energy even more with this other rattle. It's more intense, and it really shakes up the energy. Clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety, clickety, clackety. So I'm going to move this through your aura, and this is really going to thicken it up. And it's just going to shake anything loose that might still be preventing you from finding this balance. For the intention for this session, I want to leave this flame open for you to really be clear about what it is that you want. So I think it's very important that if you're somebody who goes into this like peaks and troughs, and you're in a trough and you're like, oh, I haven't been doing the things I need to do, you're beating yourself up. Maybe that inner critic is getting really, really loud and starting to yell at you. And then you're coming, you're on the upswing and you start to feel really like you can do everything. I think a great way of stopping that cycle I think it's very difficult to stop that cycle when we're in the trough, right? When we're in the dip. But if we're in that peak and we're sweet, that's when we have this like radiating energy of like possibility, and we can do anything. And I think that's when we sort of have to start to recognize what the pattern has been so that we can start to shift it a little bit. So when we're in that peak and starting to feel like, oh gosh, I know what I'll do. I can do, today I'll plan a trip with my friends. I'll buy 10 books that I'm going to read. I'll put my, I'll do 10 loads of laundry. I'll do, I'm going to start writing a book today. I'm going to work on, start doing projects. I'm going to run a marathon. I'm going to, order a bunch of gym equipment, and, take a moment, look at the pattern. And if you're going to set any goals for that time, which I think is a great time to harness that productive, kind of uplifted energy, set 3 goals and sit on each of them for a time and really reflect on what your pattern has been with that specific goal. So if it's about getting healthy or something like that, what has your habit been around getting healthy? And then set yourself a very small, manageable goal. And try and set a goal that is measurable, something that you can say, okay, in 3 months, I want to be able to do 5 push-ups. It can be whatever you're in, whatever you feel inspired to do or whatever. But just as an example, try and make it something that's measurable. Not just I want to get healthy, but try and make it something that's very clear and specific so that you know when you're taking steps forward. And then do measure it. Try and measure that goal for yourself so that you know, okay, today I did half of a push-up from my knees. All right, tomorrow I can do 2 push-ups from my knees, whatever it might be. So you want to have these goals that are in alignment with what your patterns and habits are. That's going to be so important and empowering for you. And I think when we can start to set goals that are more realistic for us, and we can start to achieve those goals, that's when we can really start to build up momentum and have bigger goals, start to meet those, goals, and then we can kind of pick it up and pick up the pace and get a bit of a trot going, and then we can start to gallop, and then we can start to sprint. It's a really beautiful process that has that gorgeous domino effect, and we can use all that energy to do it. But if we're setting huge goals that aren't based in reality, aren't based on sustainability, what we can actually do and practice, then we probably won't achieve them, and we'll probably start to feel really bad about ourselves, which will mean that we don't want to do anything. It'll lead to a deeper dip, and then when the peak comes up, we really want to harness that energy, and we'll do the same thing over and over again. So let's stop that when we actually have the agency to do it, which is usually when we're feeling uplifted. So that's just something to be mindful of here. What's your cycle around productivity? Be aware of it and just notice little things that you can start to shift. If you have a different cycle than the one I described of going up and down, but a cycle that doesn't feel empowering for you, I would love to hear what it is. So if you want to share, please feel free to share in the comments. So, self-awareness, self-love, compassion for yourself. We all make mistakes along the way. That's okay. When we start to recognize that our to-do list has nothing to do with our sense of worthiness, we can, untangle that. That's when we can start to really develop a strong and consistent routine for ourselves, I think. And compound interest is a beautiful thing when it comes to building that kind of confidence in ourselves. All right, my love. So using this flame to ignite our intention on behalf of your highest, wisest, most empowered and aligned self in loving comfort and in perfect balance, I wish to conduct this Reiki session, this energetic healing session, to help you balance productivity and a sense of calm, your compassion with your productivity, just generally balancing that sense of go, go, go. And to help you really understand your value and your worthiness. So take a moment here to gaze into the flame and feel free to use that flame to set an intention, maybe even pick 3 goals that you'd like to connect with. You can dream big today and then simplify it tomorrow or a little bit later. Simplify what you want. Boil it down to, maybe 2 or 3 goals. Let's say over the next 3 months. 3 goals for the next 3 months. See what happens. Filling my hands with Reiki healing light and then pouring that light into your solar plexus. It's such a beautiful, powerful thing to accept healing, to accept care. I do think it takes a lot of courage to accept that, because it's a vulnerable thing to do, The energy of our society is very go, go, go. And so when we can start to invite care and compassion into the way we do things, the way we move through the world, if we can be more receptive, open and loving and receiving love, I think it's a beautiful act of rebellion. So I'm filling your solar plexus with warm healing light. And when you start to feel like you can't do things, when your confidence is starting to wane, I just want you to reconnect with this energy. You're so worthy. These challenges, they're there to teach you something. And when you move through challenging things, it really does. It drastically improves your sense of self-belief. It's so empowering. Just to know that you can do hard things, that you can do challenging things, that you can move through difficult obstacles. So breathe deeply and slowly. If you're comfortable with it, maybe even breathe into your belly. Allow your belly to rise, and then hold your breath for a moment at the top, And then exhale, maybe even through your lips. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to move these stones just a little bit because I have a new tool. It's really fun. So just pop the little ring down. This is a solar plexus crystal singing bowl. So I'm going to play this on your solar plexus to activate this space and help provide a beautiful sense of balance. It's large, but it feels nice and here, let me move it over a little bit. So it's going to make your entire body vibrate. Okay? And I will move through with this. And it'll just cause you to feel incredibly relaxed and calm. It'll activate this chakra for beautiful grounding and centering effect. You, but I'm buzzing. I think that's a really lovely singing bowl. I love it. Okay, my friend. I hope this really helped you to feel nice and balanced. It gives you a sense of confidence about moving forward. I know that you're going to have this beautiful sense of intentionality and confidence as you move through your daily to-dos, as you start to achieve your goals, building that momentum. We've created this beautiful foundation of self-love and self-confidence that will carry you through and really start to shift things for you. So I'd love to hear how you're doing, where you are in this journey, if you want to revisit this video in maybe a few weeks or maybe at the end of those 3 months and let me know how you got along with those goals. I would love to hear. Okay. Take good care of yourself. Take good care of each other. And until we meet again, be so well, my friends. So well.